Hey guys, it's Majesty Bianga here with the Financial Drive-Thru, where I take you through the world of cryptocurrencies, online investing, and pretty much everything going on in the crypto space right now. Now, it's good to point out that everything that I say and do on this channel is based on my own research and my own personal bias, so I do encourage you to do your own due diligence and be sure that anything that you take from this is right for you. Now, that said, let's get into the market, shall we? And it is a bloodbath today. Today, I am dubbing this correction day. So basically, Bitcoin is down by 4.10%. And Bitcoin right now is about 9,015. We've been retesting the 9K zone for a while. Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash actually had a really big blow, and they dropped from around 1,500 to 1,325. So we can quickly look and see the biggest winners are Mixin, Decred, Storm, Steam, and Monocoin. Oh yeah, there's Tron too. And the biggest losers of the day have been DentaCoin. No surprise there. DentaCoin has had like a really good run. And so, you know, if you rise too fast, the correction is going to be pretty steep. So DentaCoin is down by 17.96%. And Rivain is close behind it with 17.77. Right now, market cap is at $397 billion. And Bitcoin dominance is at 38.6%. So, taking a quick look at the charts, this is the BTC USD charts. This is the 4-hour time frame, and over here we can see the triangle formation that I had plotted out yesterday. I was right actually, so I did expect a bull run to come out of there, and you can see this lovely candlestick that just came all the way up here. And the markets actually got to test 9,600 before the correction started. Bitcoin Cash also had a pretty beautiful rally. You can see they had this lovely bullish rally from around the 18th, and Bitcoin Cash actually rose all the way, and they're having a pretty steep correction right now. So I'm not going to make any predictions for Bitcoin Cash because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes in the news, and so right now this could go anyway. So how about now we dig into the news and see what's happening. First story of the day is a major one. My Ether wallet's DNS was hijacked, and over $150,000 worth of ETH has been stolen. Getting straight into that, MEW wallet has been hacked through a DNS hijack, which transfers users to a phishing site that has already stolen 215 ETH. So the gist of it is that those who use their MEW wallet through these public DNS servers that have been highlighted here, 8888 and 8844, had their DNS servers resolving the domain to a bad server that could steal private keys. I like that they went straight to what to do in this situation, because that's what we need to know if your money is getting stolen or if you're at risk. So first of all, they say if you use the MEW wallet in the last, hold on, this headline came out yesterday. So I'm going to say in the last 24 hours, if you used your MEW wallet in the last 24 hours using the private key or a key store file or even a mnemonic phrase, here's what you need to do. First of all, check your address on etherscan.io to see if you've been victimized by this hack yet, because if you go to etherscan.io, you can actually check your account balance and you can check the transactions that have been made on that account. Next, transfer your funds off into a new wallet even if you haven't been victimized yet. Do not go to the site to do this. Now, this is very important. They even had to embolden it just to make sure. So you have to run the MEW wallet offline, and there's a link over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to this page in the details section of the video, and rather than go check if your money has been lost except you're following these instructions, what you should do is first of all open this link and use it as a guide. So now if you have used your MEW in the last 24 hours using MetaMask or a Ledger Nano S or even the Trezor, those are hardware wallets, you should be fine, since these options don't expose your private key online when signing transactions or accessing your account. So this is great. So if you've been using like MetaMask, I'm actually a huge fan of MetaMask right now, and I definitely do encourage people to get their hands on hardware wallets because these are the safest ways to keep your crypto. So avoid using the MEW website until successful triage has been confirmed. Now, if you haven't used your MEW wallet in the last 24 hours, they're telling you right now that you should not go to the website until you receive confirmation that it's been fixed by the MEW, nobody else. And I love this. Curiosity will kill you. So that's the best thing to do. Don't panic. Just follow the instructions and it should be fine. So still on the issue of security, I have here the Ledger Wallet website, and you can actually get your hands on a Ledger Nano S for 79 euros right now, excluding tax. I'm going to put a link to this in the details section of the video. So I personally just placed an order for one of these babies, and I'm looking forward to getting my hand on it. It should actually up my crypto game some. There's a quick tour, and they talk about all the features of the hardware wallets and, you know, basically how you can improve security using them. So I think this is something everybody should look into. Again, the link to the website will be in the details section of the video down below, so do check that out and let me know what you think. And so we have more news on security. I'm sure you guys remember SafeDroid. The SafeDroid CEO was the one who apparently was playing a prank on all his investors. So he supposedly was not running away with $50 million in an exit scam. It was rather a publicity stunt. And I find that absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I still personally, and this is my opinion, this is my channel, so I'm going to say it. I believe there's a conspiracy somewhere in here, and I actually do think they should look further into this. Basically, what they're saying is it was an elaborate hoax played on investors and the public, and now the company has to do some heavy damage control because investors are pissed. So even if they want to teach you that your money can get lost, the way it was done is kind of wrong, because people invest a lot of emotions and sweat into investing in anything, and you know, there's some serious life-threatening risk in pulling this kind of stunt. So yes, definitely it's been labeled a dumb PR stunt, and they claim that by later that evening the site was back up, insisting that they were joking and trying to educate the ecosystem about the potential of frauds. They claim it was for education purposes and that they did this to show that even they, as a heavily regulated German company, could easily have run away with all the investments. What do you think about this? And just in case we felt the crypto market wasn't manipulated enough, we see a headline like this. So apparently big money met secretly with regulators to protect none other than Ethereum. So let's take a look at what they had to say. They say venture capitalists and law firms met in secret roughly a month ago with the US Securities and Exchange Commission, that's SEC. They basically wanted to protect the coins that they had personal interest in, and top of the list to push for what they call safe harbor was Ethereum. So what they did was they wrote a note arguing that while certain digital tokens sold to select individuals before wider availability may qualify as securities, they should be granted protection from regulations once they are used for non-investment purposes. Now, I mean, that's still very open-ended, but let's see what they had to say. So if the SEC were to overtly designate a cryptocurrency coin or token a security, the weight of legal implications alone would probably kill it. And this is the general thought process for everyone in the market, right? So the working group therefore wished to get ahead of that by proposing safe harbor for some coins that they feel are not objectively securities. Now, they feel this because they're invested. Let's not forget that part. So they feel this because they've put a lot of money into it and they feel it should work. And the rest of us retail investors, you and I, are just investing at random and hoping for the best, while these guys are really controlling the main market. And this is what we need to understand. The cryptocurrency markets are heavily manipulated. So what they're saying to SEC is that Ether is a good example of a type of token that has become so decentralized that it should not be deemed a security. So what I found particularly interesting is because a lot of other tokens run off the Ethereum network, right? These guys actually feel that the safe harbor that they're asking for Ethereum should not apply to these other tokens. That's really just shoving everybody else but them under the bus, right? But then again, we also need to think about why this is even important in the first place. And here it is. Ethereum has been credited or blamed for the boom in crowdfunding popularized with ICOs. Now, SEC is on record saying ICOs to a project are all securities and so fall under the agency's jurisdiction. Now, what they are actually proposing is under the terms of safe harbor, digital currencies would not be subject to securities law, including the so-called Howey test, once they achieve certain benchmarks centered on blockchain software functions. So it's all revolving around back to what we can actually use the blockchain for. And if you're invested in something that actually has real-world use case blockchain applications, and then they claim that this shouldn't be subject to securities law. So as of the time of the writing, there was no word as to whether SEC had accepted the group's definitions and requests. But then again, I saw this other headline where they say Ether and Ripple are doomed as securities. Now, this was 2 days ago, and it was actually from statements by former Obama administration financial regulator Gary Gensler. Now, he believes the cryptocurrencies such as Ripple and Ether appear as unregistered securities and are in current violation of the law. Now, this came shortly after the VCs that we just spoke about went to meet SEC in secret. to head off such regulations. So the general belief in the industry is that securities regulations would actually kill pretty much any coin, because a lot of businesses have actually built their whole entire business idea, their business plan. Investors have invested based on these plans, and then all of a sudden everything gets shut down because nobody had considered what would be considered a security or not. Remember yesterday we talked about who defines this, and in this case the SEC does define what is a security and what's not. Now, Ripple, I personally thought would be safe because Ripple is actually closely tied to the banking sector. But in the event that it is considered a security, then it could be very critical to the future of the coin. Now, the Ethereum Foundation had a few things to say about this as well. Now, they said that they neither control the supply of, nor do they have the ability to issue Ether, and the quantity of Ether that the foundation holds is currently under 1% of all Ether, and is already lower than that held by many other ecosystem participants. So a Ripple spokesperson also commented, and he said XRP does not give its owners an interest or a stake in Ripple. They are also not paid dividends, and XRP exists independent of Ripple and was created before the company and will even exist after it. So those are both bold statements, and I want to know what you think about this. Do you think Ripple and Ether should be classified as securities? Were the VCs right to meet the SEC in secret? Let me know your thoughts. And in case you were wondering why Bitcoin Cash was rallying like mad just a couple days ago, take a look at this. Bitcoin Cash proponents prepare for the largest block size increase ever. Yes, that's true. Bitcoin Cash is actually having a hard fork on the 15th of May. Yeah, so here they say it's going to happen on the 15th of May at approximately 12 noon UTC. The 32 megabyte block increase will be the largest block size expansion of its kind within the currency landscape. So that's pretty huge. Roger Ver would have a huge chip on his shoulder for this one. The increase will allow developers to maintain consistent transaction throughputs for billions of people living in the world, alongside on-chain fees anyone from any developing nation can afford. Now, before I read through this any further, I just want to point out that this is actually from Bitcoin.com, and Bitcoin.com is headed by Roger Ver. He is the main proponent of Bitcoin Cash. Now, while an upgrade of this capacity is definitely a good idea, I also want people to bear in mind that this is obviously a biased article, and everything that is here is going to be selling Bitcoin Cash as hard as it can. You're allowed to have your own opinions. I personally prefer Bitcoin. I do not like the whole Bitcoin Cash could be the real Bitcoin talk. Yeah, those are my own personal opinions. I should also point out that this is money, and so we should try and remain as unbiased as possible regardless. If you're going to make money doing something, then you might as well do it. So the upgrade will actually enrich BCH with a variety of robust features such as tokenization and the ability to program simple smart contracts through the BCH chain. Now, after the hard fork and some community development, things like bonds, stocks, precious metals, commodities, and any physical or virtual object can be represented by a BCH-backed color coin. So this is huge news for Bitcoin Cash, and this also explains why it was rallying. But then again, right now, Bitcoin Cash is experiencing some extreme corrections right now. So just remember, if everything moves too fast up, I expect everyone watching this channel to know that they need to actually put out some stop losses in your trades and actually take profits when you can. So here we're looking at Bitcoin ABC, which is the hard fork of Bitcoin Cash. Now remember, Bitcoin Cash is also the hard fork of Bitcoin itself. So technically we're looking at the hard fork of the hard fork of Bitcoin. So it's not really going to be a new currency. It's more like an upgrade to the network. And the way it's happening is once this upgrade is done, the previous network isn't going to be functioning. So this is really going to kill off what we currently know as Bitcoin Cash. That's my understanding of this. I welcome any corrections in case I'm wrong. I've read through this, and the link is going to be in the details section of the video, so you can check it out, bitcoinabc.org. Some more good news for BCH. BitPay's checkout mobile app now fully supports Bitcoin Cash. Here they say Bitcoin Cash traders should be happy as BitPay, the digital asset provider based in Atlanta, Georgia, has also added BCH support to its checkout point of sale. Merchants can now allow BCH payments directly to their mobile devices, of which orders can be priced in more than 150 cryptocurrencies. So that's really good. The new development will imply that BitPay's merchant clients will be able to keep their proceeds from sales in Bitcoin Cash if they so please, instead of collecting the amount in BTC and USD equivalents. So this service may only be available to a handful of businesses due to the fact that the firm updated its terms of use earlier, so you should look that up. So some companies are not going to be able to use this, and the restriction was placed in the bid to operate following the statutes of regulatory authorities. So it's key to note that everybody is trying to stay in tune with regulations. More news and regulations. Japan finally gets a self-regulatory body for crypto exchanges. So what they did was that the country's 16 licensed exchange operators took steps to launch what will become known as the Japanese Cryptocurrency Exchange Association. That's going by JCEA. And the group will create best practices and compliance standards for which all members are required to uphold. So what they aim to do is advise the other 12 exchanges that are currently not registered to ensure that the country is operating on it. Over to cloud computing. Amazon Web Services introduces blockchain framework for Ethereum and Hyperledger fabrics. Now, I found this to be amazing news because first of all, AWS is brilliant, right? And in this way, AWS will allow users to manage decentralized applications. We know them as dApps. So what this does is, with the new blockchain templates introduced, interested parties will be able to create secure blockchain networks using open source frameworks. Down further, I like how they put this here. AWS blockchain templates will allow you to focus on building your blockchain applications instead of spending time on the manual setup of your blockchain network. So for all of you who've been thinking of ways to actually utilize the blockchain, individual ways to do that, AWS is actually giving you a template to work off from. So you can actually pull this off with little or no effort because the work is done for you. I think that's brilliant, and this is just huge. And Charlie, when you see this, you should call me. So what do you do to get started? In order to use the new AWS blockchain templates, what you do is go to their Getting Started page. There's no additional cost for using the templates, but instead you have to pay for the AWS resources needed so as to run the blockchain network. So I think that's fair. I think that's good. And that's something we should definitely look forward to. So here we have more news from another cloud computing company, and this is Salesforce. Salesforce is among 12 new members to join the Blockchain Research Institute. The Blockchain Research Institute is the multi-billion-dollar global blockchain think tank that was announced just on Tuesday. And the institute is currently already boasting of the membership of government entities, major tech companies, financial industry players, and global corporations such as Microsoft, IBM, the Bank of Canada, and PepsiCo. So big things are happening, collaborations are happening everywhere, and there's so much news for the blockchain. And here's something for my more fashionable and humanitarian viewers. CoinGate joined forces with luxury wristwatch maker to fight against leukodystrophies. So quick look over the gist here. The wristwatch manufacturer created 99 chronograph Bitcoin themed wristwatches specifically for Bitcoin hodlers. Each timepiece has a unique design and can only be purchased with Bitcoin. The exact amount of Bitcoin paid at the time of purchase will be engraved at the back of the wristwatch, making each timepiece a unique wonder to behold. The design is beautiful and classy, depicting the real value of Bitcoin, and they plan to have 10% from the sale of each wristwatch go to the European Association Against Leukodystrophies. ELA is a credible organization whose primary objective is to fight against the rare genetic disease that condemns the myelin, a tissue that protects the human nervous system. So while it's flashy, it does support a good cause, so if you can afford it, you should definitely pick one up. I know you played your part. PayPal has actually issued new flat transaction fees, and people are saying this could turn more people to crypto as a cheaper way to send funds. Their new flat fees actually, compared to virtual currencies, are much higher. And here PayPal was explaining that they've moved the variable rate pricing for sending money to friends and families. And what they're doing is they're including a flat fee of $2.99 or $4.99 per transaction, depending on the recipient's country. So apparently users from Europe and other countries will not experience the new fee structure. The changes will only apply to US citizens that have their accounts located there. Now, this is coming at a time when we've seen transaction fees considerably lower in cryptocurrencies. So rather than pay the flat fees with PayPal, you'll find that people will rather use cryptocurrencies with really low transaction fees like Litecoin. And hopefully sometime around the end of the year, if the Lightning Network is up and running, Bitcoin will be a very viable payment option to use. And in more news, the blockchain comes to the movie industry as White Rabbit partners with production company K5. So White Rabbit is a company developing a blockchain-powered solution to make watching movies and TV series online illegal. So the deal suggests that K5 will grant White Rabbit users access to its library of 50+ movies, while the company's co-founder Daniel Barr will join White Rabbit's advisory board. Now, White Rabbit develops a browser plugin that would recognize any sort of content streamed online and offer the user a chance to directly pay to the copyright holders of said content through secure blockchain infrastructure using the platform's native WRT tokens. All the purchased content will remain available to the user in the rabbit hole, the content library, regardless of the user's geographic location. So that is definitely a plus. And here you can see the CEO of White Rabbit saying that the deal shows that the film industry is embracing innovative technological solutions. Currently, the project holds a $1 billion budget partnership program, which offers up to $100,000 to any video service that joins the White Rabbit. And so we have what looks like troubling news ahead. A likely New York Fed president says that crypto doesn't pass the test of what a currency should be. He goes on to address money laundering, terror financing, and fraud, and all the other problems that we have with crypto. Between the 12 regional federal banks in the U.S. Federal Reserve System, the New York Federal Reserve Bank and its president are considered first among equals. New York Fed is the largest by assets and the most active by volume. So this is not good news if you think about it, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. More interesting partnerships are happening. Power Ledger to trial blockchain-based energy trading in Japan. Now, Australian peer-to-peer energy startup Power Ledger will partner with a major Japanese electricity provider to test its blockchain-enabled energy sharing platform. They've announced the deal to partner with Kansai Electric Power Company, KEPCO, Japan's second largest electricity utility, to trial P2P renewable energy sharing in the island nation. KEPCO plans on implementing the Power Ledger platform to develop virtual power plants where local energy demands can be met by consumer-owned generating and storage facilities. Now, the aim of the trial is to allow electricity-generating consumers to monetize on their investment of renewable energy while providing the community with cheaper energy through the blockchain-based peer-to-peer platform. Now, they will start with only 10 homes using solar or possibly fuel cells, and the homes will provide data for smart meters to KEPCO. Now, basically, they're going to analyze all these data, and from that, they're going to create an incentive for the development of renewable distributed energy resources. So a lot of good stuff is happening. For the hip-hop fans, Snoop Dogg will be joining Ripple at the New York Blockchain Week. Now, the event is invite-only, and the company wants to acknowledge basically all the people who've been spreading the good word about Ripple and its benefits. So for those of us who are unlucky enough to have been left off the invite list, but still want to catch Snoop, there are two ways to do it, right? Now, the first way is through a trivia night on the 2nd of May, where contestants will correctly answer 3 questions using a single tweet within an hour starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Winners of the 8 available tickets will be announced the next day, and the first 8 tweets to answer all 3 questions correctly will win 1 ticket. The second way to do this is to make a meme in the Make a Meme competition, where contestants will be challenged with writing a caption for 1 or 2 of the images to be posted on Twitter. Submissions will be open for 2 hours, and winners will be announced on the 4th of May. Terms and conditions obviously apply, so please do check on those. Seeing celebrities involved with crypto is not always a good thing. We're reminded of Steven Seagal's issue with the ICO that ended in a bizarre exit scam, and Floyd Mayweather, who's a boxing champion, is still embroiled in an SEC investigation into the ICO he represented. So now, more news on Binance, everybody's favorite exchange. I always love seeing headlines like this. Binance allows users to exchange their dust for BNB tokens. You know that moment when you're on an exchange and you're trying to sell a coin, and then there's like a fraction of the coin, like 0.0041 or 0.004, that just doesn't move because the fees couldn't cover it. So now Binance is allowing everybody to exchange those leftover coins, which are called dust, for BNB tokens, which are Binance tokens. So this way you never get to really waste any money. And I think these are all the reasons why Binance is so famous, because they're really trying to meet the needs of the people. Here they point out, in order to exchange the dust to BNB, you would have to enter funds, balances, and then select the coins you want to exchange for BNB tokens. Once you've selected them, the next step will be to click the exchange button and confirm. Now, the test can only be done once per day, so this is important to note, and only to the BNB token. So key things to note, once a day, only to the BNB. So I'm going to round off today with a little tidbit that I think everybody needs to know, and that is that we should not rely on biased third-party advice when investing in crypto. Everybody has an opinion in cryptocurrencies. People would not hesitate to share these opinions with you, and a lot of these opinions are really not based on evidence. It might be based on something they saw on YouTube. It might be based on a headline they saw, and all the time you need more than just hearsay. You need facts, you need something that you believe in, and you need to be one with your gut. So doing a lot of research is the first step to making a viable and balanced decision, and there's no need to seek approval from anyone. If you've done your research and you've made your peace with it, I can't stress this enough, but you have to make your peace with whatever it is you're doing in crypto. So once you make your peace with it, avoid FOMO, and FOMO is fear of missing out. If you see a coin is soaring, good advice to notice that it will come back down. There would always be a correction. So don't just get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught up in the rush. This is easier said than done because a lot of times you rely on information from other people to know what to invest in and what not to. And really no one wants to miss out on anything. So doing your own research and making your peace with your decision is ideal. It's key. So avoiding random strangers' remarks, pump and dump groups, and the so-called buy signals. There's so many WhatsApp groups and so many Telegram groups that are giving buy signals and telling people what to do, when to buy and all that. We should just generally avoid all that stuff. When you're doing trades, always put a stop loss, because if everything is going so great, there will be corrections and people will lose money. So don't get caught up in the hype. Do it right. So if you like this video and you like this kind of content, do drop me a comment in the comment section. Hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you can catch my videos as they drop. My name is Majesty Ibianga and this has been another edition of the Financial Drive-Thru. I'll catch you later. Thank you.